Move to open?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is J.R. Colby, Chairman, Newbury Select Board. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Alicia Greco,
Yes.
Mike Doyle,
Yes.
Jerry Heavy,
Yes.
Jeff Walker.
Yes.
Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Tracy Blaze, Town Administrator.
Yes.
Julie O'Brien, Executive Administrator.
Yes.
Martha Taylor, Planning Director.
Yes.
John Lucy, Police Chief.
Yes.
We have some anticipated speakers on the agenda tonight. Please respond in the affirmative. Matthew Porter, Vieira, DeGian Filippo, Attorneys at Law. Okay, I'm not seeing him yet. Bo Sturm, Manager of the Sunset Club, Plum Island. I imagine they'll...
Just came in.
Okay. I imagine they'll be joining us as we get closer to their time on the agenda. Randy Lynch, owner, 243 Newburyport Turnpike. And we're also looking for Michael Daltario, owner, 243 Newburyport Turnpike. Good evening. This open meeting of the Newbury Select Board is being conducted virtually, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, and the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. The order, which you can find posted on the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Newbury Select Board is gathered in person, but meeting by Zoom meeting link is posted on the agenda on the town's website. All of the materials for this meeting, except any executive session materials, are available on the website, and we recommend that the members and the public follow the agenda as posted on the website. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will go down the line of board members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and be sure to state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in dialogue with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. The chairperson or vice chairperson will afford the public comment for a period of 3 minutes and will be granted as follows. Participation will be sought through the raise hand function. For video conference participants, this function can be accessed by clicking on the participants option listed in the menu below the photo gallery. Hover your cursor in this area if you don't see it. A participant's window will open and display on the right. On the bottom of this participant area, you will see the list of phone and video participants, and on the bottom, you will see the ability to click on a button to raise hand. Please ensure your name is displayed. You may rename by using the More function next to your name. Telephone participants can use their phone's keypad while in a Zoom meeting to raise hand by hitting *9. Those who have requested to be heard through the raise hand function will be heard in the order of which they are listed. The system lists in order by whom first hit the raise hand function. For some reason, that line always gets me. Please identify yourself by stating your name and address, and then your question or comment. You will be unmuted and your hand will be lowered when you have been given the floor for your questions. We will continue down the list of those in the raise hand column. And finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Turning to the agenda, we have citizen communications. Do we have any raised hands, Tracy?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Stephen Mangan.
Okay. How are you, Steve?
Very well. I hope I'm unmuted at the moment.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief. Last time I spoke, I believe I supported the idea of continuing to have a restart the monthly meetings. I still wish to keep that before you as a goal, but it also occurs to me that the other elected officials may also want to participate in this thing, sparing you having to do this every 5 months. For instance, the planning board chair might be an interesting person to have a monthly meeting. And in as much as you might be talking to Peter, I suggest that as a possibility. And something even perhaps a bit more forward-looking is that acknowledging the authority that's vested in the town administrator position, maybe even the town administrator might want to do this once a year, so that it's just not a abstract position, but rather you get to know the person behind the title a little bit more by having a monthly meeting. So I just want to put that out there as an idea to be thinking about down the road, if you will. And one reason why I mentioned the planning board, Chief, is that the master plan is an issue that's still before us. I think Bob Connors mentioned it at a recent meeting of the select board. And I think that's something else that needs to get going again. And this might be an opportunity to try and work with the chief of the planning board and Martha Taylor as well to try and get that important document going. And with that, I'll close and say thank you for the chance to speak.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Have a good night. Do we have any other raised hands, Tracy?
We do not, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Chairman's report. I signed the PR 21-20 for the Select Board. I signed the PR 21-20 for Julie O'Brien. I signed the VW 21-21 for WB Mason office supplies. We have some grants, gifts, and donations tonight. First one, Barrett Transportation, $100 to the World War II Memorial.
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ruth Yes Air, $22 donation to the Council on Aging.
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Pauline Mahoney, $25 donation to the COA.
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ruth Rock, $25 donation to the Council on Aging.
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the Newburyport Society for the Relief of Aged Women, $2,000 donation to the Council on Aging.
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone, for those generous donations. Yes.
The council agent's quite a big check. Make a motion that we send out a thank you letter. Not that we don't want to appreciate everyone's, but I think $2,000 is a nice check.
Yeah, it
I'll
doesn't
second
hurt.
that.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, we got a couple hearings coming up at 7:15, but for now, we'll get to some new business. We have a business license, Elizabeth Woodworth, DBA Lizzie Soap Company, 19 Downfall Road. General business, handcrafted soap and lotion.
Move to accept.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have a business license, Jane M. Volpone, Treasurer Clerk, DBA Volpone Towing Service, 86 Rear Newburyport Turnpike, general business and towing services.
Move to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have some election worker appointments. Let me turn to my list. Actually, I better work on this one in case we had any additions. We have Michelle Augeri, 30 Cottage Road. Esther Bernier, 55 Elm Street. Alex Burke and Nancy Burke, 10 Larkin Road. Donna Callahan, 4 Torrey Lane. Carolyn Casey, 6 Forest Street. Deborah Casey, 64 Carter Street, Newburyport. Wanda Crowe, 28 Hay Street. Janine Cunningham, 143 Scotland Road. Elaine Demers, 88 High Road. Lisa Dorval, 46 Low Street. John Elwell, 226 High Street, Newburyport. Marguerite Flanagan, 11 Plum Island Boulevard. Heidi Fram, 21 Forest Street. Marlene Coslow, 36 Caldwell Farm Road. Wilma McDonald, 229 North End Boulevard, Salisbury. Jessica McHale, 60 Old Raleigh Road. Kathy Muse, 10 Marsh Avenue. Dave O'Neill, 31 Pearson Drive. Bernadette Powers, 11 Central Street. Carol Rice, 330 High Road. Nancy Thurlow, 26 Marsh Ave. Irene Troy, 4 F Street, Newburyport. Martha Webb, 56 High Road. And Joan Wayburn, 4 Hearts Way, Raleigh.
Move to accept? Or move to appoint, I should say.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have time for the addition of the Juneteenth holiday. This is a vote to amend the Personnel Policy Manual to include the acceptance of the Juneteenth holiday for June 19th or a floating holiday if the holiday falls on a non-work day.
Move to accept?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Before we leave new business, JR, if we've got a second,
Mhm.
and I don't know if we can vote on it, but no matter what, I'd like to put it out there. Eric Swan and Bob Connors have done tremendous work for the police station, and they're volunteers. And the building committee has a couple volunteers on it too, and they've done yeoman's work. When I was down there, there was this little bench that faced the parking lot. And I'd like to, have a vote, you don't have to do it tonight, we can do it, but I'd like to have like a little bronze plaque, doesn't have to be any bigger than that, but thanking the volunteers, Eric Swan for his long dedication, and Bob for his duties on the construction committee and the construction committee, just something a little different to set it aside for them. So,
No problem, I think it's a good idea.
so, I don't know if we can vote on it tonight, because it's not on the agenda, but we can put it on for next time.
Yeah, put it on the next agenda.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd like to see a design, too, to see what
Yeah.
it's gonna look like.
between now and then, maybe we can.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be big, it's just that when you're a volunteer, and I know because I've volunteered for a lot of things in my life, and you work as long as those two guys did, you should have some little recognition,
Yeah.
Well, I think we have to be pretty clear on what we're gonna put on it, what we're gonna say on it. I think we need to vote on that. I don't know if you wanna do it tonight, I think we should probably think
No,
about
let's
it.
think about it.
Yeah, think about it and
It's not-
add it to the agenda.
Not on the agenda anyway, so we can't do a vote on
Brought
it.
it up, so we'll
That's a
vote
good-
next week.
It's a good thought. Okay, so 13, we still have a few minutes.
You want a meeting update to fill some time? Or do you want to wait?
Yeah, if we have like a minute.
Okay,
Does that work?
It's just a quick update. We had an emergency meeting of the Essex County Veterans. Hamilton had pulled out of the group last year, and Wyndham, after all the budgets were set this year, they decided to do this year. So we were
Meaning
27,
what? They moved out?
they moved out and they moved to Gloucester. Okay?
Hamilton?
Hamilton and Wyndham now.
Hamilton and Wenham.
Hamilton did it the beginning of the year, Wyndham did it last week. But it was short, it was a little bit bad timing because all the budgets for the towns are ready. So we voted to take, I talked to Tracy, we voted to take $27,000 out of an emergency fund and cover it this year. And then we have a year now to work on it to figure out how we're gonna cover the shortfalls. But I didn't wanna cut their staff. We had to cut their staff last year. And Karen and her staff does an excellent, they do good work.
Do you have any idea why they're leaving?
Money.
What does that mean?
Because the amount of money it costs the towns to be in this, okay?
Yeah,
Gloucester's made them some kind of a better deal, and Hamilton, Wyndham was really
This is an application for a new liquor license at 4 Old Point Road. Do we have someone here tonight to speak to the project?
Well, can I
Hey, good evening, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Board. My name is Matthew Porter. I'm the attorney for Sunset Club LLC. Along with me tonight are the four owners of the company, Robert Bosturm, Joshua Childs, Vincent Godin, Jeff Christensen. This is a petition for a new Section 12 restaurant license located at 4 Old Point Road. Sunset Club would essentially be operating a beach-themed, predominantly outdoor restaurant at 4 Old Point with some indoor bar space. The applicants are certainly very well experienced operators of restaurants. Mr. Childs, Mr. Sturm, who would actually be the licensed manager here, owns several restaurants, have for the last couple of decades in the area. The board may be familiar with Paddle Inn, which is located in Newburyport. So they certainly bring vast experience of operating some great restaurants. I think in addition to that, I would point out that over the last, couple decades of combined experience, they have not had a single liquor violation between the two of them. So not only are they experienced in running great restaurants, I think they certainly understand and practice with responsibility as far as alcohol sales are related. Mr. Sturm would be the licensed manager. He'd be on location for at least 40 hours a week, if not more, to be very hands-on operation. They are certainly here and can speak more to the theme of the restaurant and the menu itself if there's any questions along those lines, and I can certainly speak to any of the legal aspects of the application as well.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I think I need to move to open the public hearing. So I move we open the public hearing on the liquor license for the Sunset Club.
I'll second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, would you like to give us a rundown of number of occupants and maybe some other details just for the folks at home, just so we paint a clear picture here?
Yeah, so I think the total square footage indoors, 1,600 square feet. Outside is a little over 16,000 square feet. Be 3 entrances, 3 exits to location. The capacity is 163. As I said before, the vast majority of the space is an outdoor space. There are floor plans in there, and some depictions of what the space would look like if the board wants to review those as well. But beyond that, I know that the public hearing apparently wasn't open, but I would just again say to the public that this is a very experienced operating group. They've operated several restaurants over the last 2 decades very responsibly, no liquor violations whatsoever, no underage sales. So certainly they understand the responsibilities that come along with the license.
Okay, I'll open it up to questions from the board.
Not really a question, but more of a point of reference for my understanding. I imagine you're going through site plan review right now? Martha, are they in site plan review?
So
She can't, they're not letting her, there she goes.
All right. Yes, they are going through site plan review right now. There have been a couple of sessions of the public hearing. The next one is actually scheduled for this coming Wednesday, the 21st.
All right, so they're moving through that network, and there's approvals there, and I imagine there's other approvals. And it's probably gonna be a great thing, but, maybe we need to, it's a little new for us. I don't know if I know maybe we should go down and take a look at it. Go down and take a site walk and see. Just because of the scope and it's outdoors, it's a little different for us.
I think a first-hand look, because a lot's changed down there. I know the applicant they own some of the houses surrounding now. I went down there with the plans. I didn't go on the site, but from the road, tried to look at what I could look at and understand. And I could understand probably about two-thirds of it as far as the layout, and the other third, I would probably need a little in-person clarification would be helpful. I could see this concept being wildly successful, but where it's a little unconventional, I know other communities have similar, outdoor serving arrangements, but it's absolutely a first for me, in my time in this town. I think a site walk would probably
Well,
be helpful, I agree.
I mean, we want to do this correctly because it's going to have to go to the state above us. So, I think we ought to cross our i's and dot our t's, the other way around. But I
So-
just want to get down and take a peek.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and just, like I said, I think we need to be careful how we send in, because it's got to be okayed by the state or it doesn't go anywhere.
So I have a question. I remember we had an issue in the past with another establishment in Newbury that wanted to serve alcohol outdoors in a patio, and they weren't allowed to because it wasn't connected. The state would disallowed it because the waitstaff was going to be carrying the liquor, like, to a detached patio across the way. And I remember that was a problem. I guess I have some questions as far as where is the liquor going to be stored, and where is it going to, how are you going to serve the public, and how, is there going to be a bar outside, is there going to be a bar inside, and where are the tables going to be, and is people be able to kind of walk by, and so
That's
I
going to be
kind
a
of,
lot clearer to you if you get down there.
yeah, so maybe, maybe this is too early for you to answer this question, but I just want you to know that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, so I would just say, as far as the patio is concerned, that is an issue with the ABCC if they're not congruent spaces, if there's not a flow between the indoor and the outdoor space. But that's not the case with the layout here. As far as the other questions, I'm sure Bo Sturm is here. Bo can enlighten you on sort of what the setup would be. He'd be able to do it better justice than I would.
Sure. This is other than it being an outdoor space, a pretty typical first full-service restaurant. We'll have a central bar located inside with two bay doors that lead out into the restaurant space. There'll be one main entrance, which everybody has to come into with a host stand there. The host would direct people to their tables. If you were sitting at the bar, there would only be 14 bar stools. So there would be a service bartender that would serve the drinks for the entire restaurant. So the drinks would be brought over to your table or handed to you by a bartender at the bar, if that answers your question. And it is contained by various fencing and barriers. So you have two emergency exits other than that main entrance, but everybody would have to come into that main entrance from the parking lot.
So you're going to have a service bar outside or inside?
No, it's inside. It's inside, so the server would pick up the drinks inside or at the window to the bar facility and bring them to the outside.
And I have another question. I understand you have a movable trailer that you're going to be cooking out of and serving out of, is that?
It's a kitchen that's actually being built out of a storage container, and it will be on site as well. It will be able to be moved in the case of an emergency, but it would function as our kitchen.
And is the liquor going to be stored in that movable container?
I'm sorry, I had a little trouble with hearing that last question.
That's okay. Is the liquor going to be stored within that movable container? Is that where you're going to
No,
store the liquor?
actually, we have a large walk-in within that with the inside facility has a large walk-in cooler, and the beer would be stored in there, and then there's an upstairs area that has a locked liquor room and an office space. And then, other than that, it would be at the bar. So nobody would have access other than the bartenders to liquor or staff.
Sorry, Jerry, did you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do
Oh,
too.
all right, Jerry's been waiting forever.
That's okay. Thank you. I just noticed on your application that you have outside seating. So are you anticipating having outside seating in the winter And are you anticipating having heaters, or are you just gonna have the 49 seats indoors during the winter?
Correct. We would pare back as the weather would dictate into the inside. So, whatever, Columbus Day, November 1st, we would, when it's no longer tolerable to be outside, we would bring it back to only the indoor facility, which has a capacity of 48.
And what are your hours going to be where you serve alcohol?
So we would open at 11 a.m. and then we would serve alcohol. We would call last call at 10:30 and serve food until 10 p.m. That's what our plan is.
Thank you very much.
Do we have, Jerry, that's a good question, do we have the proposal for hours in what we have?
I didn't see
I didn't
it.
see it,
I didn't see it either.
no.
Yeah, so there is no space within the ABCC application to spell out the hours, unfortunately. So we're a little bit up with what we have, from the ABCC forms. But yeah, the hours would be 11 to 11 is what's proposed, with 10:30 being the final call.
So it shows you that I should know more, maybe. Where do the hours come from? I mean, who?
Yes. So the ABCC dictates what is allowable hours, which we would fall, within those parameters. And then the town, when the town would issue the license, that's where the hours would be set.
Well, I would think it would be consistent with the remaining restaurants that are already down there. That would be my guess. At least I would advocate to have the consistency.
Why?
We don't even know what the hours
Yeah, I
are.
mean, they're more of an outside place, so they may be
Well-
going for a different clientele.
I think the liquor licenses that we've approved in the past have the hours on them, though.
But I think that's why Jerry asked the question, and that's why I asked, and if that's correct. And maybe Tracy or someone can answer.
Well, when you fill out the licensing authority certification, the cert that you would approve, the board would approve, there's a spot where you can put in remarks or conditions. So once those are placed in, this would be what's submitted to the ABCC. And if the ABCC approves it, then it becomes part of their license.
Ah, that's how
So
it
we're
works.
talking about having to do like conditions of something now, or when they okay the license after this?
Now, it would be part of the license that you are
Part of this
approving. You would
process.
put in your conditions.
It's getting complicated for me tonight.
Yeah.
Mike, you had something?
Yeah, quick question, and I'm sorry if my back's to you. If you had a maximum people, indoors and outdoors, 163, do you have enough parking? I mean, I'm just looking, it's like, I don't know what was required for 160 people parking. Does anyone know that offhand?
Maybe Martha would.
So I'm just saying, it's like, that's a lot of people, and I'm not sure if I see
you know
enough
what?
parking
I
here.
think it's gonna go somewhere after us, though, meaning parking for
Well, if
the
they,
restaurant.
right, but if they had the maximum of outdoor of 114
Yep.
and 49 inside, it's 163 people.
I think site plan review
plan
at the
review is
planning board
gonna-
level will
yeah.
capture things like
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah, and I don't mean that, I think that's gonna be Martha's silly way.
The only, like I said, I've heard nothing but good things on the island about this
Oh, yeah.
project. I mean, everyone's excited, but the only thing I've heard, only red flag I've heard is 10:30 liquor outside. It may be a problem. That's something, because we used to say to the beach club, what time? I think it was 8 o'clock. So they had to stop music and stuff. I don't know how the rest of the island's gonna accept that. I'm
Well,
just saying,
so, and they're asking for 11 o'clock,
10:30.
10:30?
10:30 stop serving, 11 o'clock exit.
I have another question. Do you plan on having any outdoor music, whether it's piped in radio, are you planning on doing any music?
We would like to have some low-level music. We've actually been looking into directional speakers that would not impact any of the surrounding neighbors, but it would be at a low level. As far as live music, it's not. We would like to have some live music at some time, but we're at the disposal of the committee as far as what we're allowed to do and not do. And just to be clear, this is a family-oriented restaurant that we're trying to do. I mean, most of our hours of operations will be during the day. We do not want this to be kind of a raucous type of atmosphere. We also, I mean, we have like a kids play area in there, like a sand pit with a kids play area. This is not something that will be, that we want or intend or will allow to be any kind of more bar atmosphere. This is a family restaurant that just happens to be outdoors, which we feel is very COVID friendly for the times right now. It's a really good concept. It's going to really beautify that corner, that kind of the entranceway into Plum Island. So I don't anticipate that being a problem. And Vincent Godin and Jeff, they own most of the surrounding area, most of the surrounding houses in that area. So, and we're partnered with them. We're very, very conscious of the impact it would have on neighbors and their tenants.
And one more question about bathrooms. Are all your bathrooms going to be indoors?
No, so we actually have 5 portable restrooms on site, kind of close. If you look, it's close to the entranceway from the parking lot into the outdoor space where the entrance would be. From the parking lot to the left, there would be 5 portable bathrooms with a hand sink, an outdoor hand sink for use.
Are those
and
like?
then there's also the 3 ADA compliant bathrooms inside.
I think we gotta go take a look.
Has the Board of Health weighed in on the porta-johns for bathrooms?
Yes, actually, we had a really good meeting with the Board of Health today, and we went through the entire plan with them, with her, and she signed off on it and actually sent an email over to Peter, the building inspector, with her approval of the plan as is.
And one more question. Entry to the facility from the parking lot, it assumes that the openings to get into the facility, are they like the normal restaurant door size, or are they 10 feet wide? I'm just curious, when you walk up and when you go to enter the restaurant, for lack of a
Right.
better word, how big is the opening? I'm just curious of the temptation for people to walk out of there with cocktails, or how easy it would be.
Absolutely. Well, we would have a host that would actually station there. I'm not sure exactly how wide the entranceway is, but we would have a host that's stationed there.
Okay.
So you would have to be greeted by the host in order to get a table.
So you plan on having some type of monitor at the door, keeping an eye on things?
Yeah, absolutely. So there would be, obviously me or a manager on duty that would be monitoring any alcohol in the facility whatsoever, and everybody has to pass through at least 2 of our employees to either, enter or leave.
Okay, in the perimeter of the site, is there some type of fence, or is it a mixture of landscaping and fencing?
It is a mixture of landscaping and fencing there. I actually, if Vince is on this, I think he might be able to better answer it, but I think there is perimeter fencing all the way around the facility.
Hard
Other than the
fence.
2 emergency exits.
Hard fence, you mean, right? Not a living fence? A hard fence?
No, not a hard fence.
Hey, Bo?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. I can actually share a plan if that works for everybody, if they want to actually see it. I'm not sure how well, you guys have a big screen over there that you can see?
We actually have a plan right in front of us.
Oh, perfect. So along the parking lot, it's going to be a 6-foot-high fence that's going to delineate the restaurant and the parking area. And then along the road, because we didn't want to have so much height there, it's going to be about a 2-foot-high sand berm that's going to have that what do you call it? The snow, not the snow fencing that you see along the beach, the snow fencing. So that's gonna weave around that, and that's gonna be the Plum Island Boulevard side and the Old Point side. So there's gonna be no possible way for somebody to be able to kind of hop over.
Yeah, and this is a full-service restaurant, so you would be at a table with a server. So the server's also would be able to be monitoring the space. So you'd have a manager, the server, the host, and a bartender all monitoring the space.
Okay.
All tip certified, all serve safe certified as well.
Any other questions from the board at this time? Okay,
So.
would it be
I'm-
possible, would it be possible to arrange a site walk for the select board? Just so we could have a better
Absolutely.
look at things?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do you want to schedule that now?
Well, we can have them too, yeah.
Right, yeah, good point. We're all together now. Mondays are tough for me.
Saturday morning might be, it would be best for me, like,
I work every Saturday morning, so.
oh, you do?
But it's like, I get out of work, I can do any afternoon.
What time?
Anytime from 2:30 on, 2 o'clock on,
During the week?
during the week.
What's good for you, Jerry?
I'm pretty free.
If we can-
Mondays are tough, besides that, I can make it work.
This is April. Do we want to do it this week, next week? How are you phasing with your construction? You haven't started yet, right?
We're doing some small interior stuff right now, but otherwise, we really haven't really moved forward. We'd be happy to meet with you as soon as possible. Obviously, we want to have this moving forward as quickly as possible. So whenever is convenient to you, we'll make time to meet with you and walk you through the space.
I can do late afternoon any day this week.
I can do any same thing, except for Thursday.
I'm a little bunched up this week, but next week's pretty clear except for the 22nd.
Yeah, next week is better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever day works. I mean,
Might get next Tuesday in the whenever. Now ask them if they can do it, you know.
Yeah, Tuesday.
could you do a next Tuesday afternoon?
Whenever it works for the board, I'm happy to accommodate.
Can we do late in the afternoon, like around 5 o'clock?
Certainly.
And if it's raining, we'll do another time.
Absolutely.
Can schedule a rain date for the next day? Can we do that now?
You made it, sugar.
5 o'clock on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday, April 20th, does that work for everyone here?
That works fine.
Sure.
Oh, actually, I'm so sorry. It's the kids' school vacation next week.
Okay.
Josh, would you be able to do the
I'm Bill's partner. I'm sorry, I didn't want to have too many voices in the hearing, but to echo all of his sentiments, but I'd be happy to be there if the board would find that appropriate. I can certainly speak on for the two of us.
Yeah, that's fine.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Josh.
Of course.
Mr. Chairman, are you ready to invite public comment?
Yes.
We have Stephen Mangan.
Hi, Steve.
Well, again, Mr. Chairman, I've been interested in following this discussion. It's actually touched upon a number of points that I think I'll be reiterating right now. I'm not against indoor alcohol and a license for that. I am a little bit concerned about the length of time the operation will be going on during the evening and the outside part, particularly if there's alcohol being served, which can lead to a rather boisterous time. Sound tends to carry quite a bit in the immediate area. And again, the immediate area is a residential area. I'd like to emphasize that point. If the outside area is open for business, that probably means the lights are on. And as you may know, lighting is a big issue and some other issues, specifically other locales. Specifically, it's been an ongoing one still for the golf center, where due to some the golf center and the town hasn't come together on concerns about lighting, except for that one issue. The golf center has been okayed, but right now I believe it's required to stop operations within 1 hour of sunset. And I'm thinking something similar may be a concern for the outdoor seating, at least, at the proposed restaurant here on Plum Island, both from the light factor and the noise factor. And I would hope the board would consider that when they write conditions for the alcohol license. So I'm not quite sure how to phrase it just yet. Apparently we don't have to just yet, but again, I'm certainly in support of them receiving a license for indoor operation, but not for outdoor, particularly as the lights go down and the noise builds up. And again, I'm thinking we might want to be consistent with what we're doing at the golf center, for instance, where we're showing a lot of concern about lighting and its impact on the neighborhood and the nearby residences. I would also point out that I think there's a lot of more nearby residences on this proposed location than there are at the golf center. So I think we want to be, both consistent and sensitive. I can also tell you that sound really does carry. I can appreciate the stated desire of having directional speakers, but as I sit at my house 500 feet away from the ocean, certainly I hear the surf pounding, a sound I do enjoy, I would add, but that's different than having music, no matter whether it be classical or rock, coming across the dunes to my residential area. Let's see if there's something else I just want to put before you, though, with the permission of the owners of the proposed site, I hope it would be open to the public, respectfully participating in the site visit. And weather permitting, I certainly would try and be there, especially now that I'm vaccinated for the COVID. So I believe that's it. Oh, one other thing that I don't know if it would become under the purview of the selectmen to be thinking about, but when you do your site walk, I'd ask you to be considering the traffic impacts, particularly as the restaurant is getting ready to close or being open late at night. And with the sun gone down and perhaps a large number of people both exiting the site and entering the site for last call, I think that could be a concern about how life goes on in the island. So traffic is an issue, though it may be something that will be more under the purview of the planning board. So thank you for the opportunity to comment, and with that, please mute me.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Some good thoughts to consider.
Mr. Chairman, somewhere along the lines with the responsibility of issuing a liquor license, I'm gonna need town council to tell us some of the things that we're looking at. I need a little guidance here because, just listening to Steve, this isn't a special permit. So, yeah, issuing a liquor license carries tremendous amounts of responsibility. So we've done them before. We haven't quite done one like this. So maybe a little guidance from Lisa Mead on what our expectations should be would be helpful.
Do we have any more raised hands, Tracy? Oh, I see John Lucy with his hand up.
Yeah. Just one quick question. I'm looking at the plans and I can't quite discern it, but it looks like traffic entering the parking lot would go in from the boulevard and the pattern would be exiting out onto Old Point. Is that correct?
That's actually been changed.
Oh, okay.
So it's now going to be entering off of Old Point and exiting onto Plum Island Boulevard. So the plan that's included in the packet is a previous iteration.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other raised hands?
We do not, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
We're going to have to move to continue this public hearing.
Make a motion to continue the hearing.
But we're not meeting
after.
again until we have town meeting on the 27th. And then our next meeting will be not till the end of April. I'm sorry, the end of May.
End of May?
Yeah, it'll be May 25th because we have the elections on May 11th.
We can set one in
Yeah, we
between.
can set one up, we have to. It's a long time.
Yeah, I don't want to wait that long. I don't think that's right.
And if I could just say to the board, obviously, we can, respect and understand that the need to go out for a visit, but the sooner that we, the better here, especially just because the ABCC itself, the state, can take 4 to 6 weeks on top of the board. So the sooner, we can satisfy the board, obviously, we can be off to the state because there could be significant delays up there as well.
Yeah, understood. We'll get through the site walk and then we'll work on,
Now, do you think
We have to set
Once
it to a
again-
date certain.
I should be asking to raise my hand? Is it possible after the site walk for everyone to maybe post a meeting in time and meet and come to a conclusion for these guys?
That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
Mr. Chairman, you need to set a date for the continuation of the public hearing.
okay.
Yeah, it has to be a date certain.
But if after the site plan, after the site walk, Tracy, if we set a time for the public, because it's a public hearing.
But you have
So
to set it-
what he's asking is if after, and I don't know, the board has to give me your feedback on this, after the site walk on the 20th, after physically going to the site, do we
Could we
want to?
come into here and have
Come
a
in
meeting?
here and continue the public hearing that evening, like at 7? Go home and wash our hands and feet?
Yeah, you just have to make sure you set a time and date certain tonight for the continuation.
Yes. So is there availability in this room on the 20th of April, of April?
Right now, I'm available.
It's what?
I'm available.
Unavailable?
I am available.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, Tracy, is the hall available?
Julie?
Julie?
Yeah, I'll have to go on the site and check. Hold on one second. It should be, but I'll double check.
I think we can, if we can't get it on that same night, we could do it on the 21st or the 22nd, maybe, that week.
The planning board meeting is continued to the 21st.
Oh,
What
They
is
hear-
she, what?
do you want company?
We're dealing with probably somewhat different issues. But,
Okay.
and the board has a very full agenda that night, but
I have no,
I don't think there's anything in the room. There is a meeting, but it's probably virtual. I'd have to double check, but I don't.
Which board is it?
Tuesday, 20th.
Which board or committee is meeting?
The Conservation Commission says it's a regular meeting on Tuesday, the 20th.
Oh,
And
they'll
it
be meeting
sounds, did I
virtual.
just hear Martha say the planning board also? You say the planning board was meeting on the 20th?
on the 21st.
Oh, 21st, okay.
So I guess I move that we, hold the public hearing, continue the public hearing till April 20th at 7 PM.
I'll second that.
Yep, and I would second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's a good turnaround. That's a good, really good
Yeah,
turnaround.
that moves it on.
Good idea, Jeff.
Mr. Colby, a housekeeping question.
Yes.
When I was looking on my phone, I got a text from someone saying that this meeting wasn't on the TV on Channel 9. Is that the case?
I don't know if we're
It's
live
not-
tonight or
it's
not. I was
not-
under the
it's
impression we
not.
were.
Not live?
It's not live because my wife said to me, we're not on.
Okay, I thought we were.
Yep, we're not on.
It's possible they ran into a glitch.
Thank you.
The intention was to
It
be.
was supposed to be on, yeah. So,
Well, this is why we're testing it first, I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah. Work the bugs out.
Okay, we fishing for another date?
We're all set. We moved it to,
Lorraine, you mean?
No.
no, I think we wear our galoshes and just go out in the rain. I don't think we
Yeah,
get them out.
get it done, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
Great.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
243?
Yeah, and now we'll move on to a special permit application for a bed and breakfast at 243 Newburyport Turnpike.
I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Bed and breakfast.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have anyone from the project? I see some new faces up there.
I saw some phone numbers, which I thought perhaps,
We're looking for, if Randy Lynch or Michael Deltario are out there, use the raise hand function, maybe we can find you. Or wave at us. Oh, we see you, we see you. Okay.
Ron, can you hear us?
Yes, we can now. Do you want to give us
Okay, great.
You want to give us an intro to what you're thinking about doing over there?
Sure. Yeah, we purchased 242 Newburyport Turnpike in December with the hope of turning it into a bed and breakfast. It's 7 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms, and we're planning on living on the 3rd floor and offering 4 rooms and 3 bathrooms on the 2nd floor. Not planning on making any alterations to the exterior of the building, and we're actually planning on undertaking a renovation to restore the property to its previous, state of grandeur. It's well sited on 7.5 acres on the turnpike with a spectacular view of the marsh and the Parker River, which we think would be ideal for guests to enjoy the view and the scenery, as well as partake in recreational activities, which are encouraged as part of the Newbury master plan, as well as promoting small businesses and the tourism industry and the environment and recreation in general. So again, we're not planning on altering the exterior of the building. We would bring the interior of the building up to any requirements as far as fire code, et cetera, that are required for that type of operation. There's plenty of parking on the property, and we really only have one neighbor that's anywhere near us, and they've already, voiced their support of the project. So with that, we would love to entertain any questions that anyone might have.
We have questions from the board.
I have one. How many, are you ever going to be open to the public, like a restaurant as well, or is it just going to be food dining for your paid guests?
Our plan is to just offer breakfast for the overnight guests.
Just breakfast?
Yeah,
Okay.
just breakfast. Yeah, no other, food being offered throughout the day, just breakfast.
Thank you.
I just want to say it's a beautiful piece of property, and
Yeah.
I really wish you guys the best in this. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's lovely.
So really, I might even come out there and stay.
A lot have to the property and a lot of positive memories, and it seems like everyone has a desire to see the property, maintained and offered in this capacity. So we've received a lot of positive feedback, even from people, a couple of the town employees actually. So we're very, hopeful that it's successful.
It looks amazing, so good luck, gentlemen.
Well, I mean, JR, if you were to read through, like, the requirements of a special permit for this type of use, unless, Mike and you guys, you've seen this, I'm sure, I mean, I don't see anything here that they don't, that they meet the criteria
It seems to comply.
No.
to comply. And they certainly are off the beaten track, and I've known the house for a long time myself. And it certainly is a great-looking place, and it's pretty. And the more and more I just try to, incidental, serving breakfast, 4-bedroom, I mean, I don't see anything in here. So, you guys, are we your only stop, or you have to go to fire and all the, planning? Do you have to go to planning board, Martha? No?
No.
So, but you will have to go through, I imagine, building inspector and make sure fire and everything is okay?
I talked to the fire department when they were out on the property, and they basically informed us that we do need to install a commercial grade fire alarm system. We were planning on doing hardwired smoke and CO detectors, but they did say it would need to meet commercial code, so we're aware of that, and we've notified our electrician, so we can certainly meet that requirement with no issue.
And if you're serving breakfast, I imagine the Board of Health is gonna have to go in the kitchen. So,
Yeah, we haven't pursued that yet, but I agree with you. I think that, since we'd be serving food, we'll probably have to see what's required from a health perspective. Yep.
but I mean, if they meet all those things, I think they meet the criteria here. As I see it, I mean, unless someone else has
You
something.
want to open it up to public comment?
Oh, not me, but him.
Yeah. Do we have any public comment on this project, Tracy?
Do not see any raised hands at the moment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Jerry, did you have something?
Yeah, I just, it's a lovely piece of property. I drove by it today. Just out of curiosity, what year was it built?
Built in 1912.
1912, okay.
It has a very interesting history because it was built by a woman by the name of Ann M. Paul, and she purchased 50 acres on Cedar Hill, and 7.5 acres remain with the house, and she used the first all-female architecture firm in Boston. So all of the renderings and the blueprints for the property are in the special archives at MIT.
Huh.
Yeah, I
Very
figured it
cool.
had a very cool background.
Yeah.
I'm sure your guests would be very interested in learning the background.
Yeah, no, it's got an amazing and very interesting history associated with it. So, I agree with you. I think it would be of great interest to any guests.
Good. I wish you much success.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I do have raised hands from Jamie Prohaska.
Yes. Sure.
Hi, this is Jamie. I'm Patty. We're your neighbors across the street at 216. And we were just curious what you were going to name it.
We were going to name it Cedar Hill, but then we found out there's a Cedar Hill bed and breakfast right in Essex.
Oh.
Hasn't made a final decision, but the leading contender is Highland House because it sits up high on the knoll.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, nice, nice.
It's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Same here. Hope to meet you in
Hope to meet you
person.
All right.
We did-
Absolutely.
We had one question, I guess. Since this is a special permit, is this, like, as long as we don't make any changes to our plans, I mean, is this a one-time, process where we need to go through this?
Need to, the special permit actually stays with the property. So if you ever decide, and Martha, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that if you decide to sell the property, the board would have to approve the special permit transfer, so it gets recorded in Essex County deeds and everything, the permit, and Martha, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think the board would probably want to approve a transfer and make sure that.
So as long as we own the property and don't make any changes to our plan that we presented, then we don't need to go through this again, and then.
Right, no, it doesn't expire. The only complication would be at an ownership change. So you guys would be good to go for as long as you were there.
Or a
Okay,
modification.
awesome.
Right, or a major change of
Yeah,
plan.
if you were gonna do a major,
Okay.
if something you were gonna do wouldn't let it, comply to the bylaw, then you would need it would be a modification, you'd have to come before the board, but.
Now, one thing, JR, and you guys can answer this for me, and it might not be relevant, and Martha, you, like Alicia just said, correct me. Is it incidental to just the house, or is there other buildings involved? I put it this way. Does our bylaw say that bed and breakfasts have to all be in that house, or are you putting Are people gonna be staying other places, like over the garage or whatever?
No, there is a garage on the property, but there's no living space in the garage.
So it's gonna be all in the house?
Yeah, it's all, the whole bed and breakfast is in the main house where we'll be living and all of the guests would be staying.
Good, that's good.
So our bylaw says that you shall have not more than 4 bedrooms excluding the private residence. So
Right.
if you were to add bedrooms on, then you wouldn't be compliant with our bylaw.
Yeah,
That
no, that's
wouldn't be
fine. We're
allowed.
planning on the 4, and there's no other rooms that we would be looking to rent out. So it would be maxed out at the 4, which is allowed. Yep.
Yeah,
Right, so that could be included in your conditions of approval, that it is limited to the 4 bedrooms.
And that was part of what was already in the town bylaws, so we definitely.
Right.
Yep.
I do have a question. It looks like from the plans that were submitted, there's a guest house on the property. Is that correct?
There is a guest house that's completely separate, yeah.
And you have no plans to be using that for any part of the B&B?
Exactly. We're actually planning on renting that out for long-term rentals for a minimum of 1-year lease, right? So that would be totally separate, right, from the bed and breakfast operation, yep.
Thank you.
Okay, is the board comfortable voting on this tonight, or do we need more time to gather information?
Yeah.
then I'll move to close the public hearing.
Second that.
Oh, is there any more comment before I do that?
Do we have to draw up a special decision for this?
There will be a decision which should be, voted on and approved by the board.
Yeah, so I think we'll close the public hearing tonight and then have town draft a decision for us. And then we'll reconvene again and we'll vote on it then. So I guess, Mr. Chairman, we should discuss, well, let me move to close the public hearing first.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now, we can't take any more public comment, but I think we should be thinking about if there's any conditions that we want to condition this with, this would be the time that we would have that discussion.
Yeah. I don't see, from what I see, I don't see any need to condition.
If these conditions are met, I think we're okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I say,
Yeah.
same thing.
And if time is like super important for the applicants, we could maybe do something on the night if we choose.
Well, we're coming next Tuesday night, aren't we, for the?
That's what I meant. We
Yeah.
could do
Well,
it.
council needs to draft.
But
a
I'm saying if
decision.
she could draft that up in time, we could vote on it next Tuesday.
Move right along.
Do I need to, I don't need to set a date right now, do I, Martha? Well, I should say we.
No, the public hearing's closed, so it'll be a regular meeting whenever we take that up again.
Yeah, so you're in the, however many days you gotta vote on it.
Right.
Otherwise, they get it as of right.
Right.
So,
Okay, so you folks are in the pipeline. Town council is going to draft a special permit decision, and we will be reviewing that and signing it at our next meeting.
That, the date of the next meeting is May?
Do we have that handy?
Well, we have May, yeah, it's gonna be the end of May because we have,
And, I mean, we could, after the site walk, when we handle
If
the Sunset Club.
If town council can get it
if town
together.
council is here and not on vacation, it can get
So
it done. What?
we will,
I don't think you'll have that yet, the
Yeah.
town council.
so, but we'll try to expedite that as soon as we can, because I know you guys are anxious to start.
Okay.
now,
I mean, the impact for us is that we're going to be starting a renovation, and we just, want to be certain that we should proceed with the bed and breakfast operation.
Would the
in mind.
board,
But,
is the board comfortable taking a straw vote
Yeah,
to give these?
yeah, very much so.
Or even a provisional vote? Or
yeah, I think we should take a straw vote to kind
Yeah.
of give them,
So-
it'll give town council guidance as well.
Right, that way you'll have a concrete feeling of the board, and you guys can start making some plans. So, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to take a straw vote for this project.
Motion to accept the project.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I think with the special permit, you need 4 out of 5 votes, and I think you got 5 out of 5. So.
okay, awesome. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, and it's,
Good luck, gentlemen.
All right, we'll see, we'll get that document prepared as soon as we can and get you guys official.
Yeah, and when we vote on the rail permit, you don't need to come because we won't be, I mean, you'll know when it's gonna be on our agenda, but there'll be no public, you won't be able to speak to it, so. There'll be no comment because the public hearing's closed.
Well, we're just gonna vote.
We're just gonna vote on it.
We already took a straw vote, yep.
So, okay?
Is that clear?
Yeah. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Good luck with it.
Thanks.
Okay, Emergency Management Director update. We still have Chief Lucy.
Right here.
Oh, there you are.
How are you?
Good.
Good. So, yeah, I'll give you the status updates of what's been going on since the last meeting. In the past, the 2-week look back, there was 1,059 tests done in our community, of which 6 were positive. So that would put us at a 0.57% status, positive status, which leaves us in the gray, which is all good news. We're maintaining that gray status. The local clinic, the Lower Merrimack Valley Clinic, has been doing yeoman's work getting the vaccine out there. As it stands right now, there are north of 14,000 vaccines that have been administered since they started. This weekend, they're slated to distribute another 2,100 on Saturday and 1,500 on Sunday. So it's motoring right along very, very well. Other than that, as far as any status updates or what's going on as far as our protocols, as I always say, we'll be monitoring the state's websites. That will give us our most up-to-date information on what protocols and what statuses of what phases we'll be in. But right now, it's status quo on that.
Okay.
Just one quick, Chief, the J&J thing today, is that going to affect the supplies for the clinics people are doing up in our area?
Where that is right now, Mr. Doyle, is the CDC is, as I say, pausing the distribution of that vaccine right now for an assessment. It's a very, very small percentage of the concern that was brought, that people that are affected, from what I understand. But they're pausing that for a little bit more research. I don't have anything definitive as far as how that's going to affect any distribution here, but right now it's just in a pause status, and there should be an update on that very, very soon.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, have a good night, John.
Thanks.
Town Administrators Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a reminder, town meeting is coming up. Annual town meeting will be on 4/27 at 7 p.m. at the Triton Auditorium, just as it was last June. We have some very good news that we received Friday from Senator Tarr's office. The United States Army Corps of Engineers, who are working on the Portsmouth Harbor Federal Navigation Project, that you're probably all aware of. We call it Piscataqua Sand. After almost 3 years of planning and permitting for the beneficial use of the dredge material from the harbor for beach nourishment on Plum Island, we have received notification from the Commonwealth that the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs will be or have committed to fund 75% of the non-federal match. So this is really, needless to say, we're very grateful to Senator Tarr, the efforts of the MRBA, and certainly the administration for partnering with us on this project. It is going to take what was initially projected to be about a $700,000 expenditure for the town of Newbury, and reducing it to $200,000. So for the nearshore placement of approximately 175,000 cubic yards of sand on the Plum Island permitted drop sites. So we have been asked to have the select board tonight vote the local share and commit $200,000 for this project so that we can continue moving forward.
Tracy, would you like me to make a motion?
I think that would be great.
Motion, I move that we approve the expenditure of $200,000 from the Special Assessment Fund for the beneficial use of dredged sediment to support beach nourishment needs on Plum Island. Thank heaven.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion. This is the placeholder you spoke of, correct?
This is gonna be the end of the project. Like, if we're able to, we had a meeting with them, you know, Friday, like Tracy said, if everything goes the way it's gonna go, not only will the dredge occur in the river, which is gonna re-nourish Reservation Terrace, but the Portsmouth sand will be going to Nantasket, it'll be going to Salisbury, and it'll be going to us. So it's a combination of a lot of work.
Yeah, and it's absolutely been a lot of work at the state level, the MRBA, and I also want to thank, you know, our town administrator Tracy Blaze and you for following up, and you've been dug deep into that, and it's just been a lot of meetings, a lot of information.
Yeah, a lot of Friday night meetings. and-
Well, I have to absolutely thank Bruce Tarr.
Yeah.
Done a great job.
He's been there forever.
And he's helped Salisbury, he helps everyone, so he's done a good job.
So Tracy, where is this, what fund is this money coming out of?
The Special Assessment Fund.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board, comments?
We-
Move to,
Second.
I'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Do we have a second?
I
Yes.
seconded it.
Good?
Yeah.
Good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, what else we got?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also wanted to report to the board, I think actually most of you were there, the Context Architecture did present to the Council on Aging Expansion Committee last week. And earlier today, I also forwarded you on an artist's rendering of what a combined facility might look like should the select board decide to move forward with that type of a project sometime in the future. The analysis was to determine the feasibility of whether or not the combined facility could even sit on that site. It was determined that it could. I've been received notification from Linda Allen of the Byfield Community Arts Center that the furnace at the Grange is no longer functioning. The estimate for a replacement, it is, we've only got one quote to date, but it's $6,650.
Tracy, do you know if that's gas or oil?
I do not.
All right.
It's a big building, though, I know that. So it probably takes a big furnace.
Yeah.
$6,600 furnace.
So.
I lost a boiler in one of my places, and it's, you know, gonna be like $7,000.
Yeah.
Just for a house boiler.
So do you need action from the board tonight on that, Tracy?
If you want to move forward with it, just need a green light.
Well,
Should we get more bids instead of
Yeah.
just one?
Let's get more than one bid.
As long as we're not in freezing danger, that would be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't think we're
right.
gonna have any
I
more
think,
freezing weather.
Oh.
Fine.
Yeah, we've got requests out for additional quotes. We've just received the one back.
Okay, I think we should just proceed with caution, really monitor the temperatures, because if we froze some pipes by accident waiting for more competitive bids.
we can put heat
That wouldn't be
tape on
good.
the pipes.
Well, I mean, if we have $6,000, we can certainly okay $6,000, and if we get a lower bid, then the money would return to the general fund anyway.
True.
Unless, you know, correct me, Tracy.
Nope, that's correct.
So we'd approve an up to amount?
Yeah, to move it along.
Why don't we just wait?
yeah, I'm not comfortable not voting on money and not having it on the agenda.
Okay. I'm sure they're on top of it, but Tracy, in the meantime, just if you could make sure the DPW really monitors the pipe so we don't have a freeze in there. It only takes a couple hours to crack stuff.
Sure. And also wanted to update you on Southern Boulevard, the flooding situation there. The drilling of the monitoring wells did occur on March 31st, and the information that we gained from those will help us to determine, exactly where the groundwater is, what the soils are, is it fresh water versus salt water, and once we have that data from GZA, we'll work with them to determine, what the next steps are in terms of alleviating the situation.
That's good. That's been a thorn in the side of that neighborhood for a while. Hopefully we can get to the bottom of it.
And I'm sure they're going to be sharp enough, but there is some fresh water that's suspended under Plum Island too. GZ, they'll know. So it's not totally like a walk in the park. They'll have to do some thinking. In other words, there is rainwater and there is salt water, but there's also a trapped freshwater lens. So, but they'll figure it out.
And finally, just wanted to let you know, I've had a couple inquiries. There was an article in the paper not too long ago about the American Rescue Plan and Newbury potentially receiving up to $2.1 million, and what are we going to spend that money on? Just so you know, that money is supposed to be used to respond to the pandemic and address the impact of its economic fallout. But as of right now, as we sit here today, there has been no guidance. My expectation is we could potentially use it for revenue replacement, but we don't know that yet. So don't make any plans to spend that money until we get the guidance.
Okay.
Are you hearing anything when again the guidance is going to come?
Nope. I have not.
Okay. Do you have anything else, or does that wrap it up?
Nope, that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Under correspondence, we received some letters from the Commonwealth of the Mass Division of Marine Fisheries dated March 19th, March 29th, April 1st, regarding shellfish closures due to excessive rain. We received correspondence from Secretary Theoretes stating the commitment of funds to support the non-federal funding requirements for the planned U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Portsmouth Harbor Federal Navigation Project. We also received an email from the Executive Office of Health and Human Services regarding mobile vaccination and additional support for disproportionately impacted communities. And we received a letter from the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife regarding the Great Marsh Integrated Restoration Project. Any meeting updates?
I gave mine already.
We have meeting minutes to review and sign.
Mr. Chairman, I have a,
No warrant?
I was getting there.
Oh, sorry.
for the meeting minutes on Article 15, I have a correction.
Okay.
It's at the top of the page. It says, following discussion, Finance Committee, E. Jacobson commented to see the amount of free cash and the ability to transfer over and not put any future overrides to taxpayer is a huge step in the direction that we are able to use this money for projects we know are looming. It should be LOOMING in the future. That was the only,
Just a typo.
yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have warrants tonight. Entertain a motion.
Motion to sign warrants.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. No executive session tonight. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too.